Hause'S, the Bison, the king of the 308-pound weight class. This guy is an animal. You may have heard of him before. If so, you know exactly what you're in for. If you haven't heard of Andrew Hause'S, let me just tell you now, you're in for an absolute treat. With a competition total of 2,427 pounds, that is 1,100 kilograms in sleeves, this guy is without a doubt one of the strongest athletes walking the earth. The Bison is a monster. He brings a level of concentrated rage to the platform that is a spectacle to witness. In this video, I'll be critiquing Andrew's world record performance to see exactly what allows him to lift such massive weights so you too can hopefully replicate what he does to achieve some massive numbers too. A little about me, if you're new here, I held the all-time Australian total record in the 308 pound or 140 kilogram weight class with a total of 1,050 kilograms, that's 2,314 pounds, as well as having over a decade of coaching experience. And now we're going to get started. Get ready to witness something truly insane. Let's go. Starting with squats. Let's see what he opens up with. 901 pounds. That's just under 410 kilograms. Opener in sleeves. That is impressive. That's a big opener. This guy is a tank though. Look at the size of this dude. Strong brace, looks so solid. Upright torso position, that is a beautiful squat. So he is a tank with excellent technique. That is a lovely squat. Headbutting the bar and he's opened himself up there. 956 pounds. God damn. Second attempt. Strong. The wobbles a little bit. That's still impressive. 3 white lights. That's a good lift. That's a good lift. Referee's checking that was a world record attempt. That is impressive. Now, the second squat there, I think that he did misgroove it a little bit. I believe he's going to go heavier for his third attempt. I think there's more in the tank there. I think he maybe got forward a little bit, perhaps had to use a little bit too much back. And sometimes when you lose that position, you get the wobbles. That's a heavy load. And when it is slightly off where it needs to be, it can punish you, right? Now, there's nothing that is obviously wrong with that squat. Okay, so my estimation is that he did get forward a little bit. The bar may have rolled up his back slightly, and that would definitely cause that bar to start bouncing around like that. And it's a very unpleasant feeling. It makes it feel a lot heavier. But this dude obviously has an extremely strong upper back and was able to power through and get the job done. But I'm definitely interested to see what his third attempt is going to be. 2 impressive squats and sleeves though. Rolling out the tricep. Got a bit of the penis elbow happening. The amount of load through the arms with a low bar squat is tremendous. And these are heavy low bar squats, so painful. 970 pounds. God damn. This is a huge squat. Got 435 kilos roughly. Big brace, great position. Look at that, that was easier than number 2. There's more in the tank there as well. There's more in the tank there as well. That's a huge squat. Now, I would say that perhaps his planned third attempt going into competition may have been slightly higher than what you just seen then on his third attempt. He did struggle with this second one. He did get out of position a little bit. Maybe that led him to be slightly cautious with his third attempt, but he did execute it perfectly. And sometimes it's not a bad idea to leave a little bit of juice in the tank on that third squat, which I believe he did. Although it's incredibly heavy, that is a massive squat, whether it's in wraps, whether it's in sleeves, and no matter how fucking big you are, that is an impressive squat. But I do think that potentially that little misgroove on the second attempt may have had him adjust his third. I'm not too sure. But either way, a great third attempt. a great way to come back with confidence and to execute something that was heavier. That's a tough mental gig. It takes character to do that. So that was very impressive. Moving on to bench press now. He's 3 from 3. Do me a massive favor, like this video. Please drop a comment. Let me know if you're enjoying these critique videos. Let me know maybe who you want me to critique next. And of course, subscribe to your mum's favorite channel on YouTube, Cult Strength. Bench press, let's go. 240 kilos, roughly 530 pounds. Easy. Okay, interesting with the grip there. He's using a thumbless grip. He's got 2 red lights, so that didn't count. 2 red lights. So just notice that. So he needs to get this. It's gone heavier, 564 pounds. But interesting, a thumbless grip in competition. Good pause. Very powerful, very easy. That looks good to me. 2 reds again. I am not too sure why. He's been given red lights there. I can't see his hips coming up. I believe he's obeying commands. The lockout looks good. That's a little bit funky to me. I don't understand what he's doing wrong. Someone with a decade of experience, if anyone was there at the meet, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what he was doing wrong there. But right now, he's in a sticky situation from a competitive standpoint. If he misses his next lift, his squats don't count and he bombs out of the entire meet. And that's a huge sacrifice. He's sacrificed a lot during prep, no doubt, to get to this point where he's going to be obviously attempting a world record total. So that would be soul destroying from an athlete's perspective. So there's a lot of pressure right now. I'm not sure if he's going to go heavier. I typically would never suggest to go heavier on an attempt if you get red lights, especially, if you haven't got your first attempt or second attempt. I would be sticking to that second attempt number again for the third to, give yourself a good chance of getting on the board. But obviously he's here chasing a record. So he's not really here to compete with anyone else. His numbers are obviously probably a lot higher than anyone else's at the meet. So he's there obviously for a record. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does go a little heavier, if he's chasing a certain total. However, that's high stakes, high pressure situation. So it'll be exciting. I also noticed a thumbless grip, which is not normally allowed in competition. So perhaps the federation he's competing in, if anyone can enlighten me as to which federation it is, and do they allow a thumbless grip? Because in most federations it's not allowed. It's an extremely strong position to bench press with, probably the strongest position to use. However, it comes with the highest risk. Therefore, most federations ban it. That's why I don't train with a thumbless grip, nor would I teach anyone that, because it does come with incredibly high risk. Although I understand that he is a professional and he's been doing it for a long time. And he has quite sound technique, which we're going to talk a little bit about after his third attempt. We'll keep rolling. What have we got? 582 pounds. It's gone heavier again. So we're around 260 kilos. Just over. Wow! Again, looks good. 265 kilos roughly. 2 whites. He got it. Took a big gamble, and it really paid off. That really paid off. So that's a good call. That's a good call, and that's a great feeling. Sometimes when you're up against it, you're in the trenches, and you're successful, you pull off that Hail Mary. Oh, it feels good, man. That's a big lift. That's a big win there. So just quickly touch on technique with the bench press there. Looks really solid. Doesn't use a massive arched position, although has excellent retraction and depression of his shoulder blades. And although he is flat-footed on the ground, and it doesn't look like he's getting a lot of leg drive, he's actually really using the leg drive well. He has constant tension going through the floor, which is an extremely powerful and stable position, which gives him that ability to press so well off the chest whilst maintaining that position. So an excellent bench presser, a very efficient technique, but usually a technique that is reserved for the larger gentleman. He has a great power belly, which he utilizes to his advantage, but this wouldn't necessarily work as well for someone with a smaller frame, right? So not an overly technical bench presser, but he does use sound technique at the same time. Just nothing crazy, nothing fancy. has good leg drive, good positioning, good power, great power. He's a strong guy. He's obviously a lot of muscle mass on this guy, and he's really strong. And when it comes to his squatting technique, again, he squatted huge weights. It's a very hip dominant, back dominant squat. He has an extremely strong posterior chain. That's a low bar squat. He's really shoving his hips back into the hole. He has great stability through the hips, which means that even under a heavy load, he's not getting his knees, caving in. There's no valgus knee. Everything is solid, and he maintains a really nice upright torso position, meaning he has a really strong back. As I said, posterior chain is very dominant, and he's using that to his advantage in his squats. And his bench press, obviously very muscle bound up top, very strong, and has great efficiency on the bench press. But we're going to move to the deadlifts now. Let's have a look. Talcum powder on the quads helps the bar slide a little bit. Don't get them confused for chalk. 833 pounds, around 380 kilos roughly. First attempt, let's have a look. Very explosive lifter, very explosive. Wow, very strong, very strong, very strong. We'll discuss the technique after we have a look at his next ones. I think he only actually takes 2 attempts. I think there's only 2 attempts here actually. So one thing I will say before we move on to his second attempt is that deadlifts are extremely difficult at the end of a big 3 lift meet. And the bigger and stronger you are, the harder it is to recover. So it's quite taxing, the central nervous system, fatigue, dehydration, and you don't really have an appetite, so you don't eat much during the day. And these days can go from anywhere 6 hours to 12 hours, right? Depending on what the competition is like. So at this point, he's probably feeling very fatigued. And one of the first things that you will notice when your central nervous system fatigue is high, when you're extremely tired, is your grip strength is going to falter before anything else normally. So typically in these competitions, with the big pullers, the big strong guys, it's the grip that fails, and they typically have a decent grip, but at the end of a competition day, it's compromised and it's not as solid as it was in training. So that's definitely something to look out for here. So we'll have a look at his second attempt and then we'll discuss it. But let's see what this is going for. This will be obviously the pull for the total record, 875 pounds, just under 400 kilos, 397.5. Very explosive puller. Boom. Yes. Oh, the grip. Oh, did he get it? Did he get it? He got it. Okay. He got it. Credit to him. Sometimes we get some terrible calls. Sometimes we get fortunate calls, right? We get ripped off plenty. Sometimes calls go our way. I think he got a little bit lucky there. I think a lot of referees would have said that he didn't lower the bar with control. It was dropping out of his hand. But he did successfully complete the deadlift, give him that. And he got some good fortune. I think he was getting ripped on hard on the bench press just between you guys and I. So he did maybe deserve a little fortune there. So that's a massive deadlift, a massive total. That's mind-blowing. Now his deadlift technique, a very explosive lifter, very strong guy, and it's a nice technique. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Potentially, I would maybe like to see him bring his stance in slightly closer and his hands in slightly closer. I understand he's a thick guy, but I think he could get slightly better leverage. But if I'm not mistaken, he's actually pulling sumo now. Which is disappointing. However, I don't think there's many people that would go up to this man and tell him that he shouldn't pull sumo. I don't think I would. He's a big dude. He's an angry looking fella, but I'm sure he's really nice. But he is dead set, focused in competition there. That is laser focus. He's there with purpose. And that's something I think you should take away if you're looking to compete, right? When you're there to compete, it's great to have fun. It's great to be relaxed. But when we're about to lift weights, you've got to be laser focused, be in the zone, right? He's not necessarily yelling and making a lot of noise, but he looks like he's about to burst. Keeps it all inside and expels that energy when he needs to for the lift. And that's, he's a really good competitor. That is the sign of a good competitor. He was also up against it in the trenches there with what I would say are a few questionable calls. I'm not really sure as to why he got the reds. Maybe, he was doing something that I couldn't see. I'm not too sure. But he did turn it around and had a great day, even with some unsuccessful lifts. So against the odds, he pulled it off, which is fantastic. And I do hope you enjoyed that video. I definitely think there's a lot of things you can take away from Andrew there, and how you can apply that to your training with that intensity, with that focus. Some technical standpoints there with his leg drive on the bench press. It was tremendous for someone with a flat foot. You can still generate a lot of leg drive with flat feet. And to me, good leg drive is leg drive you can't really see. It's not the kicking and the thrusting, it's that steady, consistent, hard leg drive the entire time. So that was fantastic on his bench press, and he has an extremely efficient squat technique for someone with a strong posterior chain. Really has a nice upright torso position, which he is able to achieve because he keeps his hips externally rotated. His knees are out nice and strong, which allows him that room in the hole to be in that position. And he has the strength to maintain that position and squats to very good depth, especially for a bigger guy. So that was really impressive. And I am currently 5 days post bicep reattachment / upgrade. Still enjoying the pain medication for another day or two, but I do hope you're enjoying this content. I had to switch it up a little bit, obviously due to this, but I still enjoy making the content, and actually being in this position has really allowed me to admire other people and their strength from a different perspective. When you're in the thick of it, we don't always take time to really look at people and see what they're doing, and they're doing some great things. So I have posted quite a few critiques over the last few days, so feel free to go and check them out. Always do my best to keep it positive and constructive. There's enough hatred on the internet, and with all these guys I'm critiquing from a perspective of strength, these are animals, these are beasts. All of them have great things going for them, and we all have things that we could maybe tweak and work on. But it's simply a critique for you guys to maybe look at taking things into your own training, your own lifting. So hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, make sure you go to cultstrength.square.site to grab your programs. I would truly appreciate that support. And go to the fucking gym, baby. Let's do it.